Before I came to China, I was trying to find a subject for this conference.
Yes.
A subject which would allow me to compare something from ancient Greek with something from classical China.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, let's compare the love poetry of China and the love poetry of ancient Greece.
Yes.
There are big differences, but what I found out in Chinese love poetry was the tenderness and the melancholy and all these comparisons with flowers, which was fascinating.
Yeah.
And what impressed me even more was that love poetry in classical China went along with music and dance, which is not the case in the West.
Yes.
Love poetry in the West is just words. It's poetry. I love you, I want you, I miss you, and all that.
Yes.
But in China,
It's more street express.
yes, you combine this with dance and music. So there is a multiple, a composite, a complex effect created both by words. Certainly it is more romantic. And I liked it very much. But I didn't have time to go deeper into this. I'll do it in the near future.
How do you understand the protection and the inheritance of cultural heritage?
The West has, partly at least, lost its respect for its own past. Here in China, I realize that the Chinese still have a great respect for their past. This is a great difference between China and the West. You still have a strong sense of respect for your classical past, for your ancestors, for your history or whatever. In the West, these things are called into question. There is some kind of, reluctance to go back to the past.
Yes.
As if we live only in the present, as if there is only the present, and the past which has created us has faded into insignificance. This is not good, and I admire the Chinese respect for its heritage.
How has ancient Greek literature influenced the creation and development of ancient Chinese literature?
Look, some things in both Greek and Chinese literature have developed independently. 5 or 6 centuries or 2,000 years ago, there was no possibility of contact. It's very seldom, very rarely, that the authors of Greece and Rome, that is the Greek and Latin authors, mention Chinese people, because there are no contacts, it's too far. They are too far from each other.
Yes.
So some things have developed independently. Now, after a certain point, say after the what? As we say in the West, after the 5th or 6th century BC, of course there were influences coming from the Greek literature, from the Western literature into China.
Yeah.
But I think that the character of the Chinese literature and Chinese culture is too distinct, and I wouldn't say that there was such amount of influence that it has changed its character. It's still distinctly and recognizably Chinese. We may have contacts at one point or one occasion. There is influence coming from one side to the other, but generally speaking, the Chinese wenhua is quite distinct.